Bookish Pod. I'm Shy, and I'm actually by myself on this one. C had practice. So, we're going to be running this one by ourselves. Alright. I'm going to plug our Instagram real quick. Our Instagram is at the Bookish Pod 25. Y'all, we have almost 250 views on Instagram. That's insane. Thank y'all so much for that. It's amazing. Our YouTube also has almost 200 views. That's just mind-blowing. Y'all are running the numbers up there big time, and we so very much appreciate it. We actually have a TikTok now. Our TikTok is at the Bookish Pod 25, or not 25, at the Bookish Pod. Sorry. You can find us on TikTok. We post the same things that we post on Instagram. So if you don't have TikTok, don't worry, you're not missing out on anything. We also now have almost all of our episodes on Spotify. So I took a weekend and I crammed and tried to get all of our episodes on Spotify. So that's a thing now. But like I said, we are so very grateful that y'all are watching and running the views up as much as you've been running them up. It's insane. We can't hardly keep up with it, if I'm being completely honest. It's just a dream come true, and we are so grateful. Today, our book is going to be Twisted Love. It's the first Twisted book in the series. It is 18 plus. It does have some spicy parts. But it's just typical romance genre type stuff. It's not romantasy or dark romance or anything like that. I always try to preference it. I do believe I said it's 18 plus. I gotta I'm trying to keep track of myself, y'all. I haven't recorded in so long. We have had computer malfunctions. We've had videos get deleted from downloads. It's been a whole thing. Life's been hectic. So we've got a bunch of episodes. We've got scripts ready. We're just trying to find time to sit down and record them. So I'm going to pull up the spice chart real quick for Twisted Love, and I will read them off to you. Twisted Love was definitely one of those that you could skip these and not affect your reading experience of the book. So if that makes sense. Your spice list is Chapter 19, Chapter 22, Chapter 24, 26, and 43. I think only one of those is almost full chapters, if I remember correctly. It's been a hot minute since I've read this book, so be mindful of that if you decide to go read the book. I could be wrong and they could be full chapters, but I will be doing a review on it, and I'll make sure that I post the list on Instagram, and I'll try to put the list on YouTube too, so that if you're on YouTube you can go look at the list before you listen to the episode or whatever, or go watch it or anything read it, or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. I'll make sure I try to have everything up so you can know what you're getting into. I do want to preference this. There will be spoilers of the book in this episode. If you do not want spoilers, you can end the episode here, because you kind of have the major stuff, the rating, the age rating, and everything, and spice rating. You have the major stuff. So if you end it here, no hard feelings. This is hard to do without giving spoilers away, though. And so I want to preference that before I really get into it. Our main characters in this one are Ava Chang and Alex Volek, I think is his last name. Don't quote me on that. I don't have it wrote down. Anyways, Alex and Ava are our main characters. Ava is a photographer. She's currently still in college. This is an age gap too. Keep that in mind. Alex is a successful CEO of his uncle's company. Ava has a lot of past trauma. So when she was younger, she almost drowned, and when we first get into the book, we are led to believe that her mother, who apparently had like mental problems, tried to drown Ava. Later in the book, we find out that's not true. We find out like the whole truth and everything. And I will touch on that in a few minutes. But right now, we're meeting Ava. She's got a really traumatic past. She's trying to become this photographer. And it's a process. She's worked very hard. Like, she's a hard worker. And then we meet Alex. Alex is Ava's brother's best friend. So Josh is Ava's brother. He's a doctor. He's still in med school. And Josh is actually leaving on a trip for, like, school. He's going to be gone for a while. So naturally, he tells his best friend to keep an eye on Ava. Because Ava's very, like, tries to see the good in everybody. Like, nobody can do no wrong. And she had been having trouble out of her ex. And that's kind of a little bit of an insignificant part of this. Because it really doesn't come into play that much. Except for Alex's whole, like, touch her and die later on thing when the ex starts causing problems. It's a small, minor thing compared to some of the other stuff. So, Alex, when he was a kid, he has a very traumatic past too. He heard his whole family, like, get murdered. I think he saw, like, the aftermath of it, but somebody had called a hit out on his family. His family was very, like, prominent. So somebody had called a hit out, and his family wound up, like, dying. And his mom had put him in the safe room. His sister, I think, was actually in the safe room too, or on the way to the safe room. And then turned around and went back to their parents and actually wound up being killed too. His whole family was supposed to die. He was the only one left alive. And he went to live with his uncle. The same one that he's, like, the CEO of his company. So, Alex has a deep, like, dark past too. Contrary to Ava's, though, Alex has vowed to, like, find the person who called the hit on his family and, like, get revenge. Like, avenge his family, and his uncle has dedicated himself to helping Alex do that. So, on top of Alex's past, Alex has a reputation. Like most of our morally gray male characters in these books, he has a reputation for being very, very cruel, cold. But one thing that Alex has that I haven't noticed a bunch of them have, he's apparently, like, very cold in his love life. And he's never settled down, never had a girlfriend. He does, like, the whole one-night stand things. So that's an interesting part to me because he doesn't like emotional attachment. That's very evident from the get-go with his whole reputation. So after Josh leaves, Ava and Alex, like, they start falling for each other. They start, like, building this bond. And Alex starts, like, unraveling Ava's past trauma. And he learns a lot about it. And he's very, like, much understanding of why she's so, like, trusting to people. Why she wants to see the good in everybody. And so he kind of teaches her to set boundaries with people. And I thought that was really, really good. That was very good character development. And it really showed how much Alex actually cared for Ava before they even, like, became a couple. So, it is kind of a slow burn in that sense. It took them a while to, like, become a couple. It actually wasn't probably till chapter 20-ish, I think. They said, I love you. So, I think Ava was the only one that said it, though. And then Alex kind of said it later on. Kind of. It's very, like, touch and go with them. But Ava's big, like, past trauma, obviously, from almost being drowned as a kid, is swimming. Like, she doesn't know how to swim. She never wanted to learn. She's terrified of water. Alex teaches her to swim because Ava tells him that she doesn't want to be held back by that anymore. That was such a sweet, like, tender moment to me, where we really got to see who Alex was underneath that exterior, underneath all the hatred and rage that fueled him because of what happened to his family. So, we go through the book and we slowly, like, start to find out about Ava's past. We find out that Ava's mom actually wasn't the one who tried to kill her. It was her dad, and he tried on multiple occasions to, like, kill her because he wasn't actually her dad. Her mom had had an affair, and Ava was the product of the affair. So, Alex winds up, like, with Ava's blessing, taking down her dad, like, putting him in jail, whole 9 yards. Another thing that we find out later on in the book that Alex actually discovers, because the kind of turning point confirmed it, Ava and her friend Bridget, which is a princess, she comes in this book, but then the second book, Twisted Games, is about Bridget. So this is favorite kind of book series where they're all, like, combined, they all cross over in every single book. So Ava and Bridget get kidnapped by Alex's uncle, and by kidnapping him, his uncle tries to persuade Alex not to, like, him down and, like, him to hear out his side of why his uncle called the hit on his family. That was such, like, when I read that, it surprised me. On my Kindle, I had to, like, put Kindle down. I called C. I was like, bro, what did I just read? What just happened? It got, like, more intense when you found out the reason. His uncle was in love with Alex's mom, but Alex's mom didn't want anything to do with him, so his uncle called a hit, and, like, the whole family died. It was so much like those, if I can't have her, nobody can. It was, my jaw was on the floor. So, to try to protect Ava, because Alex thinks he's doing the right thing by saying this, he lies to his uncle, says that Ava was just a boy, because, like, he actually thought that somebody that was, he thought Ava's dad was, like, connected to the hit somehow. I don't know. It was really weird how everything played out, and Alex, like, lied about not loving Ava because he does love Ava, but he thought he was protecting her by lying. It was a whole thing. Ava obviously is, like, heartbroken, so she leaves and goes to London. And then Bridget comes in. Bridget shows up, like, months and months later at Alex's office and, hey buddy, you're an idiot, you need to get yourself together and go to London and get Ava back. She is miserable without you. She's heartbroken. So after Bridget kind of reads him his pedigree, Alex flies to London. It takes months for him and Ava to even speak. When they do, though, Alex slowly starts to win her back. And the night that they get back together, he won her back by getting up in front of people at a pub or a club or something. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. But it was some kind of it was up in front of people at a karaoke night. And singing. That is something that Alex never did. Ava tried to get him to do it in the earlier episode, the early part of the book. And he wouldn't. But to win her back, he got up there and sung in front of people. They got back happily ever after. They got married later on. I loved the first book. I was over here, I was cheering. I was go Alex, because he was a little kid with Ava, and I loved it so much. The second book is where it really gets the second book is laid out differently than this one. So this one is kind of over a year and a half, I think, if that, honestly. The second book, though, is a little different. It's laid out over a 4-year period. And this is part of that 4-year period when it comes in. Where Bridget goes and, reads out his pedigree. That's part of the 4-year period in the second book. So that's what I'm talking about when I say they kind of cross over and collab. I've heard that Alex is problem solver in every other book. I know in Twist Games he is. I've heard that he's the one that Eddie turns to all the other books to fix problems. So I think that's really cool. I'm really excited to see how Alex develops over these next couple of books. Christian Harper's a big one too. Christian Harper came in this one. He came in the other one too. The second one. So I'm really interested in those two specifically, seeing their character development, and they change over the 2 books. So, as always, this was an amazing book. I think even if you're not a romance reader, you should read it, because it's so twists and turns, and it keeps you engaged the whole time. And that's a big thing. That's why I read fantasy more, because I like the twists and turns. I like to be kept engaged. I like all the different plot twists and the constant excitement, drama, and love that. It keeps me enticed. This is that kind of book. This is that kind of romance book. So, that being said, if you're not usually a romance reader, this is the book series for you. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. I joke around, I tell you that when she, here in a couple of years, for her birthday, I'm gonna get her a Kindle. I'm gonna download all these books we've been talking about, been reading here lately, because me and her have very similar taste books. We're different ages. She's YA, and I'm kind of on the cusp of being too old for YA, but too young for some adults. So I'm straddling the fence. This is so good, and as always, I hope that y'all enjoyed this episode. I will add this in the next one when I get recorded. I will add them to a playlist so that you can just click the list button and go through like you do with the Curl Prints and read them all, or listen to them all, and hope you read them. If you're listening to the podcast episodes, I hope they encourage read the books that we talk. But thank y'all for hanging out with me, and I will catch y'all on the next read. Bye.